Peace and prosperity, guys. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's another beautiful day here in North Goa, in Arambol to be precise. I'm joined by the wonderful
Sasha.
Tell them what do you do, Sasha?
So I'm a self-love and intimacy mentor.
Pretty deep, pretty deep. And we met back in Osho Lila at this intimacy gathering festival, which you'd be surprised that someone like me attended that, as we're about to find out. I actually made a video about my time after the intimacy gathering, but I haven't posted it yet. I'm just getting up to date with that at the moment. But yeah, basically we met there, and we actually were in this little group of 3, and we done this exercise. What was the exercise about?
Shadow work exercise.
Yeah.
Where we had to kind of step into like these parts of us that we'd suppressed. It was really vulnerable, really intimate work.
Yeah.
And kind of just showing each other our vulnerable sides.
Yeah, that was deep. That was deep. I remember,
like last year.
Yeah, I remember that was like, and we had to do that thing where we had to stand up and had to like kind of break free from the stuff that was holding me back, and like it was really powerful for me personally.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
So yeah, we met there, and yeah, I've got you on Instagram, and I see what you're doing and stuff like that, and I'm like, ooh, because you know, yeah, I'm on a big journey of uncovering, you know, like this deeper part of myself, and just, you know, there's a lot of blockages there, which we're gonna probably discuss. But basically, yeah, we met out here at the ecstatic dance.
Yeah, we just randomly were both in India, Goa at the same time.
Yeah, we bumped into each other, and at the dance. And yeah, I'm gonna share this. It was funny because I saw you, I was like, oh wow, nice, blah blah blah. And when I saw you again, and then when I saw you again, I felt this kind of resistance towards you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't tell you this. I was saving this for the video.
Okay.
I felt this resistance, and I was like, what the hell's going on? And I realized it's because you are a mirror to me, and I see what you're doing and what you talk about, and you're basically reflecting back to me what I need to work on.
Okay.
And it wasn't nice. So there was this like weird energy. I saw you, I was like, oh man, it's like, because here I am, fine, getting along with my whatever I'm doing here as like a solo man, like avoidant, whatever. And then you come, and it's like, boom, you're there, and like unconsciously, subconsciously, the energy of your work and what you're doing is like kind of triggering something in me that's like, oh, this is something that you can't avoid and you need to work on, and she, so yeah, there was some resistance. I have to admit it, and really made me look at myself, and I questioned myself a few times I saw you, like why, you know, and also at other things, like why can I not connect with people also, but we'll get onto that anyway.
Okay.
But it wasn't until the other day when I saw you in the dance again, and you said, how are you feeling? And I was like a bit emotional because I was going through a bit of turmoil. I made some videos, and there was this little imperfection that completely threw me off, and I was feeling a bit upset, and it was quite rare. It was great that I was feeling something, number one, but I was like, I just needed to go and dance it out, and I saw you, and I was like, oh man, and she's like, and you said, do you want to talk after? And I was like, damn. But anyways, the dance was going on for ages, and it was the first time I kind of listened to my body. I was like, enough is enough. Usually I just power on to the end, and then I took time out. I was sitting by the fire, I saw you, and then he was like, do you want to talk? I was like, yes. And there we were, sitting opposite each other, and all of the powers of my articulation, my charisma, I'm gonna say I have a level of charisma, just this kind of strength that I have within words and presenting all went away. Let's say my ego just dropped, my defense dropped when we spoke.
Okay.
And you literally, I'm not saying I received visuals, but there was like some exchange sort of thing that was going on, and you were kind of mirroring back to me how disconnected I am from myself and how much I need to work, and in that space I became really vulnerable to you and told you a lot of stuff, and
Yeah.
there was no hiding. Like I said, I think the ego and the defenses were dropped, and without you even saying anything, let you have a chance in a minute. I realize I'm talking a lot. I've got a lot to say. Yeah, it was a really powerful moment, because like I said, usually I'm the powerhouse within conversations. I'm kind of holding the space, and this energy is coming through, but you, for me, in that moment, and it was like, ooh, and I had to really admit to myself that I haven't got it all figured out, and I do struggle with connection. I am confused about a lot of stuff, and then that's when the energy came to me about, we need to make a video. And I said it to you, but again, there was resistance. I was like, bro, if I make this video, I'm just gonna expose myself. I'm just gonna expose myself, because, you know, I'm the first to admit I've got issues, like with intimacy, connecting with myself, definitely with females. But as the days have gone on, I've realized how important it is that we have this conversation and to spread awareness. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Amazing. So yeah, that was like, when was that? A few days?
It was a couple, 3 days ago? 4 days ago? Something like that.
Maybe speak up a little bit if you can project the voice.
That was a few days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
But it was also, what I wanted to say was, it was really beautiful to, when we were connecting in that way and when we were talking face to face, it was so beautiful to see, like, you started off like, okay, you know, what you were just saying about like holding the space and like the, you know, I'm keeping myself safe. And then it just was seeing it soften so much, and like then seeing like how you were able then to connect so much more deeper and actually open up. Like just seeing it soften was beautiful.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of layers that we all have. And but yeah, anyway, so we've talked about that, and so let's talk deeper about feeling. That's just the word that came to me. There's maybe a few things to talk about. Let's talk about feelings.
Okay.
So what can you tell me right now? Just, I know it's random, but I'm just gonna, what's coming to you right now that you can share?
Feelings. So body, being in touch with your body, being in touch with yourself. I guess like the work that I do with regards to self-love and intimacy is all coming back to the body and really allowing yourself to feel. Yeah, and
that's the journey on the path, is getting out of here,
yeah.
which is like my strong point, and you know, I never used to have intellectual capabilities, so now when I've uncovered them, I'm like, yes, but now I'm learning on the path as I'm progressing. It's all about getting rid of that and coming back to here.
Yeah.
And you know, in Vipassana we learn all about sensations. Everything is governed by sensations. But you know, it's difficult. I meet so many people like, oh, or even in circles, like, oh, how are you feeling, and where are you feeling this, and where are you feeling that? And if I'm honest, I don't feel anything. I'm not saying that I'm not in tune with certain abilities and hunches. I'm still discovering on where this energy comes from, and like, is it coming through my mental? Is it coming through a sensation? So I'm not completely disconnected in that aspect. But generally when people talk about feeling stuff, like where in your body do you feel it? I'm just like, I don't get it. I'm not at that stage yet. So can you maybe explain like?
Okay, so I'd say with that, usually when you can't feel what's going on in your body, it means that you're just really disconnected from your body.
That's the truth, yeah.
You know, really disconnected from, from what's happening here, because it's been much safer to be here. You know, and I think it's usually a survival mechanism that's learned. It's like, I'm not safe enough to be in my body, I feel really dysregulated if I do that. And so it's operating from this place, survival space, and then moving through life like that.
Is that linked to disassociation?
I guess that's a part of it. So dissociation is more like removing yourself from the present moment, right? And so that does have to do with the body, because it means that you're not feeling fully safe to be here in your body in the present moment. So it's a part of it. But dissociation can also be like tapping out from the mental as well.
Oh, okay.
That could just be like zoning out, for example, can be dissociation.
Oh, okay.
And so when you're getting caught up in the mind, it's just like, I'm thinking a lot, and I'm just getting caught up in the stories and the beliefs and whatever that I'm telling myself here, instead of being like, okay, what's going on here?
Interesting. So as you were saying that, I'm thinking, you know, most probably as a child, because everything, you know, stems from the childhood, as we all know, like most of the traumas and how we are shaped all happened from when we were young. Probably yeah, not feeling safe, not feeling nurtured.
Yeah.
Also going through like physical abuse, like from my caregiver, from my mum.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, I learned to kind of just not be in my body. Is
Exactly.
that the kind of the norm of why these things take place?
Yeah, exactly. It becomes like a way of escaping what's happening in your real life. And you know, children who have like, take you back to like secure attachment, where they have parents who are able to be in tune with them and regulate themselves. They learn like, okay, I'm safe to regulate, I'm safe to be here, you know. But if you don't have that, and you're either used to parents who are really dysregulate themselves, or you do something and then, you know, it's met with a really strong reaction or anger or whatever it is, you know, then you learn, okay, well, I'm not safe. Yeah, exactly. It's like, I don't feel safe in my body. I don't feel safe to be here, so I need to escape and go here instead.
And what is the journey to kind of, it's quite a big question, like how does one actually overcome that and get back in tune with one's body and one's sensations and one's feelings? What would you say? It's quite a big question.
Well, no, I'd say like it starts with, just as you're saying it, like it starts with paying attention more to what is happening when you're feeling certain emotions. So like really, instead of, you know, avoiding and being like, oh wow, I'm feeling this thing and I don't want to feel it, or, you know, I'm feeling sad and oh, but that's okay, and kind of talking your way out of it, it's being like, okay, how can I come back to the body? And really, really gently, like right now you could do this and feel like the sensations that are happening in your hands.
Instead of like replaying like mental situations, actually sitting there and kind of like in a meditative space, like yeah, a great way to start, meditative space. But also just like as you're going through life, just taking a moment and like right here, right now, it's like, what can you feel in your hands? You know, and actually like allowing your focus bringing the
to
awareness,
go there.
bringing the awareness back into the body other than
Exactly.
And I realized when I done my first Vipassana back in 2022, something like that, because obviously Vipassana, if you don't know, like it's all about the sensations. Like you work really deep for 4 days, bringing your awareness, and you actually just get in touch with like a very subtle sensation, vibration on the nose. And once you've reached that point, it takes 4 days of silence and meditating all day. Once you do that, they take you on a guided meditation from the top of your head, where you tune into the sensations and you start scanning the body and observing all of the sensations. So when I experienced that for the first time a couple of years ago, I realized after leaving there, it was the first time that when I was walking that I ever felt my legs.
Oh wow, okay.
I was, because usually I'm in my head all the time, I'm in my mind thinking about stuff, and it was the first time I was walking, I was like, oh my god, I can feel my legs, you know, so so yeah, it is about, I think as we're moving and progressing in these times, we are developing more senses, and it is about, you know, everything is about coming back into oneself and awareness. So yeah, as much as we can, just like even as we're talking, I'm straight in the mental, and if we could actually see through some sort of like future lens, all my activities up here, but if we could see Sasha, she's probably observing sensation as you're going
really
and staying grounded as you're speaking. But I'm not kicking myself, because like I said, I know the old me who didn't have these capabilities, and I'm grateful for where I'm at. The main thing is the awareness is there about this whole, which I want to touch on as well, because you mentioned about the secure attachment. So let me speak about this. So, so yeah, I got into my first relationship age 31. Crazy, so much blockages with women, which is actually a reflection of blockages with self. So I, you know, always thought I was unlovable, and you know, again coming back from the mother, you know, not feeling love from the mother, like if my mom doesn't love me, who loves me, and all these kind of wounds, and all this kind of false narrative, this false programming that I received. And I felt so ashamed of myself and like my body and like just everything. I was dealt the worst cards in life. I thought I was such a freak. I'm still a freak, but I'm owning my freak now. I'm a good kind of freak, you know what I'm saying? But back then, like I said, freak was a big trigger word for me. And yeah, I was so ashamed of myself. And I've done the work over the years. And basically, anyways, I got into a relationship age 31. it was great at first. You know, had this. My Venus is in Leo and astrology. By the way, what's your sun sign?
I don't know, but my.
When's your birthday?
I'm Taurus.
Oh, you're Taurus.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
I don't know like my sun and moon stuff.
Yeah, not everyone wants to know that.
Yeah.
It's not important unless you're like a mental freak like me and you want to like piece everything together, which is leading me on to another subject. Hold me to that thought about
I will.
the relationship, because this came to me just now. When I was staying at Osho Lila, this female was like, "Why are you so into astrology?
Okay.
Why is it that you're so?" And I was like, "I don't know. Like, it's a good thing, isn't it? Like I said, because I'm always thinking about the old me who had no interest in anything or no, you know." And she was like really like digging deep, and we got to the realization that why I love astrology so much and see stuff through the astrological lens is because I'm not in tune with myself on a sensational level. I can't feel into situations or the world. So yeah, it's this harsh realization. And I have to understand people and situations through the science of astrology, which is a true science, and it's helped me so much. And I'm in the midst of sharing more of my valuable astrological information. And this stuff was meant to be because I have a lot of mental energy, you know, all that Mercury energy from my Virgo placements, my Moon in Aquarius and Mars in Libra. There's so many like strong mental energies that I have, a lot of air energy, and air's like up there, you know, Earth is here. But so that was a deep realization.
Yeah, it's the same for psychology as well. Like people who move towards psychology often because they want to understand themselves more. So it's always a reflection of what's going on within you.
Yeah.
You know?
And astrology is the original psychology.
Oh,
like,
yeah?
If we actually look at the basis of the human psyche and, you know, being, everything can be found in the original language, which is astrology. Psychology is like a man-made thing that is derived from that, but everything can be found within astrology. Yeah. So yeah, that's deep. That backs up what I was saying.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not harsh on myself. It's allowed me to develop this skill. And if we were all feeling beings, which we should be, the earth would just be like this. There has to be some, you know, disconnected mental freaks who are like, you know, because people need to know also. So there's this spectrum of being and the diversity of humanity. Some of us are good at this, some of us are not. Some of us are interested in this, some of us are not. So
I think that some people are, I think that some people are further along on certain paths than other people.
What do you mean?
Like, for example, in terms of connecting with the body, right? That's one path.
Yeah.
Okay, there's millions of paths. But like connecting with the body can be one path. And I think it's important for everyone to be able to do that for humanity's sake, for whatever.
Yeah.
And, you know, so it's about wherever you are on that journey, like helping other people who are maybe like not as in tune with themselves.
Yeah.
You know, so that's one example. Yeah.
You said it's one path, but I believe it's the path.
Oh yeah?
So the more I'm uncovering my spiritual journey,
Yeah.
all of these intellectual gifts and abilities, they don't mean anything. It's actually how connected are you? Because like I said, I've done so much work on myself. I've come out here and I've developed so much. Go on.
I was gonna say though, that like there can be so much beauty and importance in being in tune with the mind as well though. Like just in, for example, I'll say like in the way that you're able to hold space and you're able to like do this sort of thing is amazing.
Yeah.
And you don't, and like for me, like being in tune with my body doesn't necessarily help me do this, right? And this is also of equal, if not whatever, importance, right? And so, but that's what I mean when I say there's different paths, and all of them have some importance, you know? So, yeah.
Well said, well said, well said.
I also wanted to just say,
go on.
I hear what you're saying about like you being a freak and hearing like feeling that, but I also think like that can be a way of talking to yourself that maybe doesn't resonate with your true being. You know, so and I think it's so important, like the words that you use to describe yourself, as well as like the thoughts you think about yourself, is so important, you know. So just being aware of that.
No, I've transmuted the energy. I hear what you're saying because you know, casting spells and all that kind of stuff. We have to be careful what we speak. But definitely the word freak, I've kind of transmuted it because it's not a bad word.
Okay.
And the more I study like the archetype of Aquarius, which I'm an Aquarius moon, it is the black sheep, it is the weirdo, and what I've learned is that being weird is actually being authentic.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm actually tapping into that.
Freak in the sense of the weird and the
yeah,
crazy
like,
and
and
the
it comes through my dancing.
Okay.
You've seen my dancing?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
There's this whole freak element. There's many,
that.
there's many elements, and I'm gonna do a workshop in the future, which is unleashing your inner freak.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
So yeah, this is something because I'm really trying to get as weird as I can, because I tried to hide my weirdness all my life. And now on the dance floor, I'm trying to be as weird as I can and be seen, and it doesn't matter. Like, okay, this is who I am. I'm weird, I'm freaky, but I'm owning it because that is who I am and that's what I want to express.
Yes.
So touching on that, actually, dancing has been the only thing that's got me back into my body.
Okay, yeah,
So
that makes so much sense.
That's that's why I'm dancing every night, because it's the one time I get to get out of my mind. But saying that, this pattern has been coming up on the dance floor. So I'm dancing like 6 nights a week here, and the same pattern comes up about connecting with people.
Okay.
Are you hot? Yeah. Yeah. So just breathe. Back in the body. So yeah, this pattern keeps coming up for me about connecting with other people on the dance floor.
Okay.
And it's like, you've seen me, I've mastered the solo dance. There's not much more I can express when it comes to being by myself and dancing, and this is just the same as life. There's only so far you can go by yourself.
Yes.
There's only how strong and independent and whatever I can be, but actually the real dance is with other people. It's about connecting with others. And I found myself in this space of, I see people around me and they want to connect with me, and because I do kind of give off this vibe, if you see me dance, that I'm really confident and I'm really open and I'm really fluid. So I see how it gives off that energy. And even just in real life, again, if you see me in real life, you know, I'm confident, I can talk, and I present myself well, which people often get mistaken, because it's actually deep. Not deep, again, I'm casting a spell, there's some blockages going on. So I've identified this pattern of like connecting with females, and there's a bit of fear around like dancing. So we use the dance floor as a what's the word?
Great example.
Yeah, and it's like what are you gonna say?
Okay, so I was gonna say, so when you're on the dance floor and you're by yourself, and then women or whoever are wanting to connect with you, what comes up?
Well, let's take yesterday for example. Because I've actually found comfort with this woman. We've danced together like 3 times now, and I'm not attracted to her. And the way we both connected, you know, at Shunya at the back, we were at the back. You know that at the back there's a stage, right at the back.
Okay, yeah.
There's barely any people up there. I just went there to get some space so I can do my freak thing. And she was there also, and there was this weird music playing. And yeah, I'm not attracted to her, she's probably not attracted to me, you never know. But we wouldn't really cross paths outside of the dance.
Okay.
You know, like we're complete 2 different characters, but we somehow connected. And I found a safe space with her, knowing that there's no attraction, like sexual attraction, and also there's no expectation for us to move all close or like tactile or touching, because that's what I'm scared of, if I'm honest.
Okay.
So that there's a unspoken thing that we dance around each other, we move around each other, and it's really cool and it's quite sexy. Nice. But there's a line there, and I felt really comfortable. And actually yesterday at the start of the dance, we were right at the front. You know, at the front everyone's warming up, everyone's a bit like this. Yeah. We're both really confident movers, and we were right at the front, and it was so beautiful, so powerful, so empowering for both of us to be just like dancing around each other, and everyone can see us. It was really empowering. But the point I'm trying to get at is I feel inadequate.
Okay.
I feel inadequate.
What does that mean?
Like when it comes to because I see people do contact improvisation.
Right.
Contact improvisation is improvising contact.
yeah. Dancing in an intuitive way, like with each other.
With like touch, and you're just like doing all that kind of this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, this Russian girl approached me last week because she saw again that I was confident and I had moves, and we started. She assumed that I could do all that kind of stuff, and it was horrible. I was trying to do it, and I was like, I had to whisper, and I was like, look, I can't do this kind of stuff. And I was like, damn.
Such a shame.
And she was like, yeah, you should go to the classes. There's some classes, but yeah, so look, there's a fear.
It's a perfect example of you being in your head instead of just following.
Just flowing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I'm a perfectionist. Again, this is an illness, a bit of an illness being a perfectionist. It has its pros and cons. You know, like in the zodiac, there's no good or bad. Like Virgo as an energy is the perfectionist. It's all about precision, detail, all that kind of stuff. And it plays a role in society, you know. Like architecture, for example, is all about precision. You know what I'm saying? So that could be linked to Virgo. So it has its place. But the point I was getting at was, yeah, feeling inadequate because like I said, I've mastered my own solo dance.
Sure.
And I know, and also I've mastered in a way solo independent life.
Yeah.
Not in so much in the material world, like, you know, still struggles with, you know, career, finance, all those kind of things. It's progressing. I'm not going to cast that spell, but yeah, connecting with others. What was the point I was getting at?
Yeah, you feel inadequate.
I feel inadequate because I'm imperfect at it, and I like to perfect everything I do. And
Okay.
yeah, what's coming to you about that?
So what's coming to me is, if the fear is like I'm inadequate, so say that's like the root, okay, then it's like, okay, what are you afraid they're gonna see you as? Okay, and then if it's like, oh, I'm afraid of being seen as imperfect, what does that mean? You know, what's attached to that?
Yeah.
So if it's on the dance floor, for example, and then it's, oh, you're in, like, oh, I'm inadequate at this dance move, whatever I'm doing, the contact improv, and it's like, what are you telling yourself that they're thinking about you?
That I'm not good enough.
But what does that mean?
What does that mean? That I'm inadequate, not good enough.
At the dance moves.
Yeah, and maybe deeper, like the dance floor is an analogy for life, I guess.
Yeah.
So maybe, the deep feeling of unworthiness and inadequacy.
Okay. So what I find is these are big, like, buzzwords, okay, that people often go to. Oh, this is what's coming up. But in reality, when you're actually on the dance floor, it's usually much more subtle than that. It's usually like, oh, I'm afraid they're going to think I look stupid, or I'm afraid they're going to think that I'm not doing this well, or I'm afraid, you know, whatever it is, like the stories that you're telling yourself that are here, that are kind of coming from the, oh, I'm inadequate big thing, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, when you can notice those, when you can notice the thoughts that are coming, oh wow, I'm afraid that they're gonna think that I'm moving like this, then it's like, oh wait, is that true? Are they actually gonna be thinking that? Most likely not. And then
And so what? Really, so what? You know, we're not all meant to be perfect at contact and realization.
This is true,
But yeah, still haven't gone to a class yet, and I need to. I've given, you know, it's been revealed to me that this is the next step of my journey. Like I said, I've mastered solo dance. The next step is connecting with others, because I see so many people do it. It looks great. It's fantastic, and it is the next step, because there's only so much solo dancing I can do. But again, it's just like life. The dance of life is connecting with others, and there's also a fear of, because I also connected with this other Russian girl, and we were dancing together, like close, like there is a sexual energy between us, and 100%. Well, anyways, on my behalf, I'm just perceiving that she is also. I'm guessing that she is. And we connected. Again, there was ages. It took me ages for us to go up together and dance. Like the energy was there for ages, and I was in my head a little bit. I was like, how do I even do it? How do you approach? I'm going through this whole mental trip of like what do I just pop up and like look at them like that and like, it's a bit weird, like, because again, and I find myself here, like on the beach or something, and I see females, or I'm in the water and like a female's close, and I just have this thing, and it's my fear of rejection, or looking corny, or being misinterpreted, as if, because I know people see me, they might think, oh, he's a player, but it's all in my mind. I'm just projecting all of these things, and I know I'm not. I've actually got a lot of trauma around that, which holds me back from the magic, because I know that there are females that probably do want to connect with me, and I do also want to connect with them, but there is this fear of rejection and all this other stuff. But basically the point I was getting at, I was connecting with this girl, we were dancing, but it was quite heavy, like strong music, so I'm there, like, and so we danced together in that way. But then she was close to me after, when the music slowed down,
Okay.
And I saw that she was there, and I kind of felt this energy that she wanted to also connect when it was like more slow, sensual thing.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
And I just couldn't do it, and I realized that I was scared of feeling.
Okay.
I was scared that if we were to do that, and I was to give her that same like deep eye contact and gaze and energy when I was doing the heavy hard dance,
Yeah.
if it was to be slowed down and a bit sexy, I was scared of, like maybe feeling something, and for her as well. And like, do I want that?
Okay.
I'm scared of that.
What was the feeling you were scared of?
Well, this is leading on to I'm realizing that. So this is another big subject about relationships, that I understand that I'm very inconsistent.
Okay.
So I connected with a few girls in 2024, and I recognize and own that on my path, I'm changing all the time.
Of course, yeah.
I'm changing all the time, like
Yeah.
physically, mentally, spiritually, and I don't want to sell people a dream. It's easy for someone to meet me and be kind of captivated in a way by my presence and my intellect and stuff like even or my dance, and I don't want to sell a female a dream, because I know that the dream kind of fades a little bit and I'm inconsistent. So I've kind of observed that from 2024. I don't want to lead people on if I can't commit.
Yeah.
So
okay, I've been actually feeling into this idea over the past couple of days. This idea of leading people on. Yeah. So, what I honestly think is that if you are clear, right, and you show up in whatever way you want to show up in the moment, then there's no such thing as leading people on. Really interesting, because like I was just thinking about this earlier, because at the end of the day, other people are not your responsibility, right? So it's like your feelings, your experiences are your responsibility. What is their responsibility is their boundaries, the way that they want to show up, whatever. Okay? So if you come into a connection with someone and it's like, this is me, this is how I feel, I want to connect with you, great. That doesn't mean that tomorrow I want to connect with you. It means that today I want to connect with you in this moment.
Wow.
Right? And it's following the energy and allowing yourself to do that without coming back up here and being like, oh no, how is this going to affect the person? What consequence is going to come of this? That's just the mind running.
It's the mind, It's actually the body in the moment wants to do its thing.
Exactly. So it's following that desire, that urge, and then not thinking about the future, just being like, okay, here. Again, it comes with clarity. So it's not about lying. It's not about saying to someone like, oh yeah, I want exactly what it is that you want, and I want to like be in a relationship with you. It's being like, yeah, I'm attracted to you in this moment.
Nice.
Let's move with that, and we'll see.
I think I'm quite idealistic. I think the word is idealistic.
Okay.
Which again, it comes from the mental activity and stuff like that. But yeah, very interesting. So yeah, I've been scared a little bit. But yeah, I do want to connect and open up more.
Yeah.
But do I? This is the thing. And since we spoke about making the video. I had this realization, and again, this is my avoidancy. We haven't even spoken about avoidance. We need to get back to that.
Well, we're flowing. It's good. Again, the mind can just be quiet, and we can flow with the energy.
This thing came to me about, and this could be my avoidance talking. I'm very aware that my avoidance creeps in and justifies certain things. Basically, it's like, okay, I've had a relationship experience now, and I know that it's messy. I'm not saying that every relationship is messy, but it gets messy when you start, tapping into people's emotional field and their mind and seeing who they really are, like deep beneath, and you're triggering each other and being mirrors to each other constantly. It's a messy, messy game. That's what I realized on my one relationship that I had for 6 months. That was really intense, really intense. Of course, I'm intense, and I move forward. I move fast on the path. So this was like a real initiation into relationships, and I'm scarred and I'm traumatized from it. But basically, I know it's a messy game. Again, this is the avoidant, rather just stay by himself, protected. Okay, I'm just dealing with my own stuff. I don't want to have that mirror. True avoidant, I put my hands up to that. But I recognize I cannot attract a queen until I'm in my kingship. So I realized if I'm just to go put myself out there now and kind of get involved with something based off lust, which, by the way, there's not a lot of lust in me. I don't know why, but maybe the path is protecting me, or maybe, I don't know, the semen retention is that kind of, I don't know, the energy is coming elsewhere, because the sexual energy, I've realized, is very prevalent in my dance. I really feel my sexual energy being expressed in my dance, because it's, you know, it's all there. I can't express it in other ways, but I definitely feel it come out in my dancing. But the point I was getting at was, what was the point I was getting at?
Avoidance of relationships.
King and queen.
Yeah.
So until I'm in my kingship, I cannot attract a queen. So until then, I will be attracting broken mirrors. No offense to the females, but the stage I'm at, because I haven't got it all figured out, I'm working on myself, but I know the stage that I'm at, it's just gonna get messy. And that's avoidance talking, blocking myself from potential, like, romance, love. Like I said, my Venus is in Leo, which is all about romance and very exuberant and very like Romeo Juliet kind of energy. I have that energy in me, but I realized, man, until I've kind of worked on myself, again, I'm being told this is my avoidance, then what I'm saying, like, what's the point in me putting myself out there to attract someone when I'm not in my kingship yet. I'm still, you know, I've still got these things going on, so I'm just gonna get involved with something that's messy.
Okay.
So
even in the way that you have a story here that that relationships are messy. Okay, that's one thing. Another thing is there's no such thing as a broken mirror if you yourself are not broken.
Oh,
right?
But that's what I meant about not being in my kingship.
Yeah, I know, I understand, but it's like, and I actually don't even like the word broken, because I don't believe that at all. Yeah. But like, what I'm saying is that what you perceive as someone who's broken, for example, you only perceive them as that because they're triggering something within you that needs healing.
Ooh,
right?
Yeah.
So you also can't heal relational trauma without the context of relationships.
Ooh.
Okay, so you really need.
Yeah.
So you need, and that doesn't.
That.
Yeah, and that doesn't necessarily mean romantic relationships.
Okay.
But it means relational. So it's exactly. So it's allowing yourself to be intimate and vulnerable with different people so that you can heal, and love is really healing.
Yeah.
And when you're in romantic relationships, you experience an intensity of bliss, and that's why you get triggered so much more, because the intensity of relationship is more, right? And so by avoiding women that are not your queen, for example, you're actually lessening your ability to move through and heal aspects of yourself.
And go through the stages.
Yeah, exactly, that you need to go through to then meet your queen.
Yeah, my queen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Interesting, because as you said that about the mirrors, that's what you were for me. That day when we met, there was like some exchange going on that pulled out all this stuff from my subconscious that I was hiding. Like I said, I did see the pattern recently about the rejection and being scared to approach women, and what was it that was holding me back. So it was a kind of theme, and then boom, then you came, and it was like, what did they say? The cherry on the cake, or so they say?
Yeah, the cherry on the cake.
Cherry on the
cherry
cake.
Cherry and icing, or something
yeah,
like
cherry
that.
on, something like that.
Yeah.
And I realized, that you brought this stuff out in me and mirrored this stuff out in me, and you triggered me. You're triggering me without even doing anything. Your presence, and I did realize, this is off topic a little bit, but I did realize how I trigger people and how my presence also triggers people, because it's an unconscious thing. The work that you have done is emanating. It emanates wherever you go. You have this energy that is. You respect yourself, you know who you are, you're in tune with yourself, you won't tolerate what's not serving you. So if someone's not in that energy, it's like, it's crippling. And
So interesting,
And it's the same for me. Like, I also emanate this other energy, this other kind of energy with like things like health or spiritual like development, where I'm really like a freak on the spiritual path, and it's all I have. So when I meet people and they come across me, before I've even said anything, sometimes my energy upsets people, and I only learned that through what happened with me and you, that exchange, because I was like, I know she's a nice girl, I respect what she's doing. Why is she triggering me? Why am I feeling uncomfortable around her?
Wow.
And I realized, wow, okay, people, you know, can meet me and see that I'm a nice guy, because I felt this weird energy from people sometimes. I felt like this, and it's like, and I feel, you know, the rejection moon comes in, and it's like, why is that? Like, I just want to do good for people, but it's because I'm emanating this sort of energy by the work I've done and my belief system, that if people are not working on themselves, or they have these other layers of, you know, guilt, shame, not saying I'm free from that stuff, but there's a certain energy that I emanate about. I think spiritual evolution is the basis of it, and spiritual truths and authenticity. It triggers people. So yeah, that's a note to self that I realize and I own, and not to take it personally when people do move a bit weird around me, because I was moving weird around you, and it was nothing personal.
No, exactly. And it's like, I think also, I want to say, in the way that you carry yourself with such confidence, you know, and so I feel like for a lot of people who can't carry themselves like that, it'll also be quite like, oh, I feel really small in his presence, you know, because I don't feel confident within myself, and then that's why then people will naturally go away. But it's a beautiful reminder of how rejection is never personal. It's always a reflection of what's going on with that person. I learned so much since
interaction. But definitely, usually it's like insecure men. I'm not saying I'm a secure man. We still need to touch back on secure. I'm not saying I'm a secure man, but I do find this thing with men, mainly older men, that they're just triggered in my presence and they can't. And for me, I didn't get why someone would be triggered by me, because I still kind of see myself with this old lens of, you know, unworthy, and like all these not having any like gifts or strengths, and I still struggle. So again, I'm casting a spell. I still struggle so much in the material world, and I'm in survival mode, and I think, why would someone be envious of my energy? And it is because I am doing the work, and I have developed a lot, and I shouldn't focus so much on my blockages and stuff like that.
I think that, you know, what came to me there is like, you seem very secure within your independence, within yourself, right? And that can be
avoidant.
Well, but at the same time, there's so much beauty within that, and so much importance within that as well. And so, but then you're finding when you get triggered is to do with relationships and intimacy and that sort of work, you know. And so for someone that sees you and gets triggered, it's like, oh wow, he's such an independent, confident man, and you know, that's then where the inadequacy for them will come up.
Well, this goes back to that beautiful cake of life, all the different ingredients, like the zodiac. You know, some of us are in our bodies, some of us in our minds, some of us are good at this, some of us are good at that, and that's the way of the world, the diversity of, you know, human nature. So yeah, there are some things that I've got kind of figured out, like in terms of like spiritually, the non-worldly kind of stuff is kind of like my main thing, which is unfortunate because we're on the world, on the earth, so I need to start, you know, making things tangible. But I guess when other people meet me, there are some things that people haven't got figured out that they might see in me, and I shouldn't. It's interesting, but let's go back to the secure attachment. So I mean, we detoured completely from the relationship thing. I was talking about my relationship.
I mean, we stayed kind of on track.
I mean, it was all beautiful. It all was meant to come out the way it came out. But basically, so I was in this relationship, knee deep. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I saw that it's not perfect. And like I said, I'm a man. I like to perfect things. I like to perfect my craft. I like to learn and study everything that I do. I like to go to the depth of it. I like maybe I like to feel into and really get into the deeper layers of what is this thing that's been presented to me right now on my journey. That's how I progressed so much through all the trauma. I've really surpassed it, overcame it, and tapped into why did this happen, and you know, what are the origins of this and how to move forward. And I've gone through so much things, I've acquired a lot of knowledge. So when I got into the relationship, it was like, ooh, okay, she I have an injustice wound. So I get injustice wound, and she and she was projecting on me all this stuff about me cheating on her. She was insecure about herself and me, and thought I was a player and all this kind of stuff. And I got this injustice wound, and it was like the first time I'd ever like opened myself up to someone, and I was so in love. Like, it was the first time I experienced love. I was so in love. I would never do anything to like jeopardize that. And all the time she was throwing in these like, things are good, things are smooth, boom, throwing in an accusation. And I was like, what the hell? I couldn't. Anyways, I started to lose my cool. Anyway, the point I'm getting at was I realized that things were not good. And I was losing myself. I began like sending voice messages, like shouting, really lost my cool because I'm someone who doesn't express. I'm someone that's never expressed my whole life. So it's actually through the relationship I actually tapped into expression. I unlocked my heart, but I also unlocked a lot of rage. And it was through that, that's how I found Osho Lila actually.
Oh wow.
Because I found I had a lot of this rage, and I met someone at the Vipassana Center that told me about the meditations they do there, the anger release and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So the point I'm getting at is, I knew I needed to learn more about relationships.
Okay.
Because it wasn't going well.
Yeah.
So I got hold of this book, the Attachment Style book.
Oh yeah.
And if you guys know me, I always say I can't read. My attention span is so bad. Not bad, I think I'm so cosmically attuned that I operate at a way different frequency. There's a lot of strong energies, fast energies, diverse energies running through me that sitting there reading a book, which I guess you have to be present for, it's difficult for me. But if it's right information, if it's really right information, like I'm reading that book, that Love, what's it called, by Vex King, Love, Things That No One Told Us About Love.
Ooh,
I picked it up at the airport and it was like, wow. It was really speaking to me about all the things I've been learning about. So if it's right, I mean, I haven't read it for like a good month now, but I started reading it and I was like, wow,
it's like really
I can read it because it's resonating information for me. So when I came across this Attachment Style book, I actually read it at Vipassana. Because Vipassana, I was volunteering there, you know, there's not technology, there's silence and all that kind of stuff. And I was reading a book because I finally could switch off and like focus. And when I was reading this book, I saw this pattern of her behavior, you know, like
disorganized.
Yeah, and this anxious kind of chaotic sabotaging energy of the anxious attachment style.
Okay.
She would say, I mean, look, I'm first to admit it, I am an avoidant. I'm an avoidant. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. If you look at my life and study my life, it's a coping mechanism that that's helped me along the way. Yeah. But during the relationship, I feel like I was kind of secure, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
She was a sabotager, apart from me reacting in ways, in the same way. Because I just couldn't grasp the fact that she kept on accusing me. And I just couldn't just be like, okay bro, she's doing it again, it's okay. I couldn't do that. I just couldn't believe the audacity that she would come up with this crazy stuff. But anyway, the point I'm getting at is, now I understand I'm an avoidant, but I really saw the pattern in her behavior. And it was through that book actually that I made the decision to step out of the relationship, because I realized it wasn't real love. It was just this trauma, like throwing like traumatic daggers at each other and receiving it, and this constant play. And when we do these things, and like I called her out about this kind of stuff, and then I forgive her, and then it'll be cool, and then she'd do it again, and then it would cool off, and then it's the same cycle. And it's like, what are we actually doing here? Like, we knew that I had the injustice wound, and she's got this thing, the insecure, like being, you know, cheated on or whatever. Yeah. And we still couldn't overcome these patterns. So what's coming to you about attachment styles? What can you share about attachment styles?
Oh God. So I've really worked with a lot of people who have had both, that they've had insecure attachment styles, and also their partners have. So I've really worked with a lot of people and heard a lot of similar stories to what you're saying.
Yeah, okay. Good.
So I have a knowledge. I also used to be insecurely attached, and I really worked through that and became more secure.
Would you confirm that you're secure?
I'd confirm that I'm secure.
Powerful. Respect to that. Respect to that. Yeah.
But it was a long journey of getting here. Like, I used to identify as like disorganized or fearful avoidant. So it's like swinging between both avoidant and anxious.
Oh.
So
I think I'm that.
Yeah. Okay. So it was a lot of work that took me to get to where I am now.
Yeah. What could you identify any stages that led you to, like, if you could formulate it in a way, were there any like specific hurdles? Like for me with dance, I can explain how one can get into dance and all the different steps. Could you kind of explain like a kind of, maybe like a little mini formula of some of the steps you took to kind of elevate you into that secure?
Ooh.
It's quite broad.
it's quite complex. It's been like a long process, but what I will say is that I started the journey because I was in a relationship with someone, and then I would find myself, like, I used to be really disconnected from my body, and so I'd get really dysregulated, like really anxious, like, for example, not receiving a text message back.
Yeah.
Right? Something really simple. And so there was one time I was with someone, and, you know, they weren't texting me back. And I really needed to have this conversation right now, because my anxiety was so bad. And then they didn't message me back, so I was like, do you know what? Forget this. I'm gonna break up. I'm gonna end this relationship. And so I did it in that moment through text, just like, I'm not doing this anymore. And that was kind of the, you know, I look at that very much like I was extremely triggered. And a secure way of handling that would have been, okay, I'm noticing how I'm feeling in my body, you know, I'm understanding that his lack of response in this moment is not about me, and I can sit with myself in the feelings of that. And then, you know, if it comes back to he responds, then I can have a calm conversation with him, like, this is kind of the level of communication that I need or that I expect in a relationship. Are you able to meet me there? And then if not, then being able to make the decision to pull away from the relationship. But not the, I'm reacting to everything as it's